There you go.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome to this week's virtual wine of the week tasting for Tipple's Brews and Wines. This is Elizabeth and Jeff Vaudrey. Thank you for joining us. This week we are going to be enjoying the Unico Fior di Arancio from Veneto, Italy. A beautiful white, dry Moscato. So this is the Muscat grape, usually a sweet varietal, available throughout the world, still and sparkling, but usually sweet, not always. And tonight we will be drinking a dry version of Moscato. So if you have not already done so, go ahead and open up your bottle of wine. I like to serve it around 40 degrees, so I throw it in the refrigerator for about an hour before I serve it. Let's pull up the first slide, please, and talk about pairings. A little sound effect.
Along with the slide coming on. We need to do that every time.
Right?
Yeah.
So food pairings for this guy, extraordinary with shrimp, scampi, turkey, blue cheese, or cheese platters in general, teriyaki, and as a few of our guests tonight can tell you, lobster rolls.
Oh.
That's right.
Yeah.
Brenda and Linda.
So will this work well with the turkey chili that we have?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not regular chili. It's turkey with not butternut. Yeah, butternut squash.
Butternut squash.
Mm-hmm.
A few red lentils, but it's the
Jeff makes this one, so I have no idea what's in
right.
it.
It's got some nice spice. It's a little bit of not tarragon. What's the
cumin?
Well, it does have cumin in it.
Okay.
It's turmeric.
Okay.
Turmeric is one of the main spices, which is really cool. It's very different,
so
very
it'll
delicious.
Work with this.
It'll work with this.
Great.
What's not on here is this would be great with spicy foods in general.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever you wanted to go with it, from Thai food to Mexican, this guy can jump in.
It's just funny to me that turkey chili is spicy.
Hey, Jeff and Elizabeth. So we did go the Thai route.
Oh, great!
Like
yes,
a curry.
we did.
We went. I went curry.
Yeah, and I went pad Thai. So I am definitely getting a lot of heat. But I did have a question. You're talking about cooling the wine, and you said an hour for this one. So we did about an hour, and for some reason it doesn't feel like it's all that chilled. Now maybe we opened the fridge too much while it was in there, and maybe this is a question for later on. Are there some wines that just don't absorb cooling compared to others, or?
No, not so much. It's not enough that there would be a discernible difference from your palate. It just must not quite, it probably didn't just have as much time as you would like. If you're thinking of like a really deep chill and you want to get down into the 30s, which is what would normally come out of the fridge if it's been in there overnight. So that would be the difference. You probably did hit 42 degrees or so, but that's still pretty significantly different from 34 degrees and when it hits your palate.
Okay, all right, thank you.
But you'll taste more of the flavors and get more of the aromas because of it.
It would also depend on how warm his started out before he put it in the refrigerator.
That's true.
Yeah.
If you put it on your engine block while you drove around town, you put it in there at a nice 150 degrees.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a really interesting experience.
Well, I mean, it wasn't that warm today. I mean, it's been cooling, like
No, it's
dropping
actually
throughout the
chilly
day. So
today.
even if it was in the car,
I didn't have a single person sit on the chairs in front. No one was brave enough to sit in the chairs in front of Tipple's today. Nope. It was too chilly and rain. You know what? I get it. They all hung out with me, watched me ordering wine. It's fascinating. You should watch me. It looks like this all day. Anyway, all right. So this guy is 100% Muscat Blanc, called Moscato in Italy. So this is a dry, or really it's an off-dry Moscato. There is some sweetness left in this, which I think we can all pick up. But it's not, so it's not zingy lean, but it is a dry, it's just barely off-dry.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I'm definitely getting that.
Right. All right. So, yeah, right. It doesn't hide it. 12% alcohol on this guy. No oak. All stainless steel fermented. And this guy's name, Fior de Arancio, is orange blossom. And I think that jumps out as a huge impression on this wine. Orange blossoms, orange, and a nice orange flavor on this wine. And we'll talk about why that actually happens. It's kind of a symbiotic relationship naturally in the area, which is fun. So, yeah, so like initial impressions, you know, obviously orange blossom, like we said,
For sure.
lime, a little mango quality. Anyone?
Yes.
Mangoes?
I'm not doing lime, but it is a little
There's a nice fresh.
kind of a tartness. So I
Right.
guess that's the lime.
That's where I'm going. Yeah.
I'm definitely getting mangoes too. Yeah.
And then there's, to me, not that there has to be for this style, but I'm getting kind of a nice minerality on the finish. You know, a little bit of like slates, you know, something dry, not overt, but kind of a nice, you know, granite slate kind of thing, which comes from the soil. This is, we'll get into it, but it's volcanically produced. And I think it might give you some impressions of minerality that we've enjoyed from a couple of different areas around the world with volcanic soils. Let's jump over. By the way, this is from, it seems to be a theme here where I keep jumping up to Veneto in Italy. I'm going to just, we all obviously need to go visit Veneto because I keep going there again and again. So here we are, our Italian wine map. We were going to drink from all around. We've been here a lot, and we're back again. This is Veneto, near Venice. And we'll jump in here. I thought this was kind of a fun map where it goes through the different areas and the dominant grapes grown in the areas. So up here, so Veneto is known for Pinot Grigio and Prosecco and Amarone, which, you know, I love Amarone. It's maybe my favorite in the world. And so we are drinking from the same area. They're beginning to grow some really interesting things. This is where we talked about it. I can't remember on camera or off camera, the wine that Linda asked me to bring in. The red blend, which I said was so delicious, and it was.
Say it was the after party, but
I think it might have been the after party, but the wine Linda had me bring in, which I really enjoyed, was from this area as well.
Okay.
So what they're beginning to do in here, it's an aside, but I think it's interesting. So down in Tuscany, they began. Oh, there she is.
there it is.
Can anyone see it, or is it just us?
No, they can all see.
They can all see it.
He's very proud of it.
It's a delicious wine. It really is. Down in Tuscany, they began making what's called Super Tuscans. And Super Tuscans, Sangiovese is the main grape for Chianti and grown in Tuscany. But they began growing Bordeaux varietals, so Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Malbec, that kind of a thing. Cab Franc in Tuscany, and when they blend them, they call them Super Tuscans. Well, up in Veneto, they're doing some of that, which is what Linda had me bring in. And no one's calling them Super Venetians, but they should, you know,
Right,
I mean, because
right.
because that's what it is. Like the one she had me bring was Cabernet Sauvignon and Carmenere. And I found another one today, which was Cab Merlot and Carmenere, which I think we might try that one as well. Made by this same producer.
Oh.
Lovo is one of my favorite guys. But anyway, so here we are. I love what they're doing up in Veneto, and we're going to explore it again tonight. We keep. I love what they're doing up there. I do. You're all stuck with whatever I choose. Okay. How do we get this out?
Oh, you just drag it, but I can also minimize it. There you go.
Thank you.
Like that?
Yeah, I do
Okay.
like that. All right. So within Veneto, we are drinking this week from here. So that's the Colli Euganei. I'm going with that as a pronunciation. It's my best. Sorry, everybody. But the Colli Euganei region is right here. So you see, it's not all the way into the Alps, not all the way onto the coast. And that factors into what we're going to taste and how they're able to grow there. So now that we've talked a little bit about that, let's stop this. and everyone's had a few minutes to kind of sip on it. I know we talked about some of the major flavors already, but let's talk about what you guys are enjoying and what your thoughts are on this wine. And I'm kind of really interested in Jerry because he loves German wines. So he's used to wines that are off dry and that type of thing. So curious to see.
Very reminiscent of some of those Rieslings with the slate and the dry. The Germans like the dry Rieslings, which we don't get much of here. And the slate is in a lot of the areas around the Mosel River. So it's blue slate wines and some of the others are very common. So this is a very reminiscent wine of that type of area.
Thank you, Jerry. I love that you said that, and I agree 100%. This reminds me of a dry Riesling, except that the big switch is dry Rieslings are going to give you a lot more peach quality, and this guy's giving you the citrus orange quality. So it has a zig and a zag in it, but you're right. Overall, the overall impression totally go with a Trocken, and which is dry Riesling.
Yeah, Trocken, half Trocken, and so on and so on.
Yeah, this wine makes me want to have sushi with it.
Oh yeah.
Like it just, yeah. I wish I had sushi with it.
Right. Yeah. It's great for that. And to me, it's also just a really fun wine. Like
Yeah.
remember, it's one of those where you can imagine a hot summer day or with spicy food. This is just kind of it's a bright, fun, juicy wine that is just entirely delightful.
I really like the mango undertones to it a lot. So,
Oh, good. And
yeah.
There's a lot of high praise from a red wine devotee.
True.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really perfumey. And like the first sip, I was just like, yep, that's orange blossom, all right. We are eating with shrimp scampi. There's just a little bit of kick from some red pepper in that. That tremendously helps with the wine. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, okay, great. This really cuts through it really, really well. And that acidity cuts through the richness and stuff like that.
Yeah, Elizabeth, Chris is like, oh, sushi, it would go great with a spicy mayo.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, right. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. I can see
Yeah, I'm
that.
thinking
but-
spicy mayo and the sriracha too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did fried ground chicken with Thai spices and made lettuce cups.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that sounds great.
Absolutely. Yeah, some great pairings. I love what you guys are doing, and having fun with it. And that's the thing. I think, sometimes I'm not sure if I'm being overcritical, but I was thinking, well, do I give the impression too much like, let's be discerning about this wine? Some wines are just fun,
Yeah.
and delightful. And, really the Saint Hilaire was a bit more about that, that nice sparkling. And I mean, heck, they invented the style of
Yeah.
sparkling wine, let alone the fact that it was Fat Tuesday when we drank
Right.
it. So.
Right. Yeah, it's so funny because I thought, like last week when you announced this, it seems to be because our azaleas are waking up and our viburnum are waking up. And I thought, well, this is going to be perfect because it's going to be hot outside. And like 3 days ago, my shoulders got burned when I was walking with the dog. And now every time I walk outside today, it's just colder and colder and colder.
It's not going to last. The sun and the warmth is coming back. It is spring, and this is a spring wine.
Yeah, this is great. I can imagine like sitting out on the lanai and just drinking this, and it's like it is in Florida, hot and humid, and this is refreshing.
Right. Yeah. Nice and cold.
Yeah, it's really, and I like the orange blossom and the mango to me too, it is so refreshing. And I think being a native Floridian, like I just associate the sunshine with oranges too.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Like,
Makes sense.
yeah. So,
Floridians, Californians.
oh, true.
Yeah. Don't they grow a lot of citrus in Arizona now too? I figure everyone knows everything, right? We've all got.
We have some kind of expert on here.
My chip is malfunctioning right now. All right. So interestingly, a part of this is you can get kind of a citrus quality from the grape itself.
Okay.
But what I like in this is a lot of the orange quality from this wine comes as a result of being grown in proximity to a local plant that's in what's called the broom plants family.
Mhm.
And because it smells, its blossoms are so citrusy, they actually, because that pollen blankets the area, it does have an effect on the grapes. Like we see this in Australia, where in some regions in southern Australia, the Cabernet Sauvignon has a eucalyptus taste to it.
Oh, I think we had one
Right.
like that. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so that can cross over, and I think it's just one of those wonderful things where not only can are we talking about the climate and the soil affecting what you're tasting, sometimes it's actually just the plants working together that are right next to each other and giving you a taste of the area, and I think that's just wonderful. Makes me happy.
So I would think that there would be some in California then, speaking of the fact that they grow a lot of citrus too.
Right.
But I don't know if they grow it, well, they have winemaking all over their state, so they must grow it near some wines too.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's
mean,
some areas.
Because I was, when you think of California, well, although we've been like mid a lot
Mhm.
too, plus Napa and Sonoma. But I think what comes to mind, like just initially, is just always Northern California because of Napa and Sonoma. But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
but they grow throughout, wine is throughout.
Right.
I don't
Then
know where they
inland-
grow their citrus, but
I'm actually not sure either. I mean, inland is such an incredible area to grow almost everything. Inland California,
Mhm.
it's so much sun, but and a lot of warmth, but it's not devastatingly hot.
yeah, and they don't have all the humidity,
They
so they
don't.
don't have all the wet mold that we get.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. All right, let's jump back over if you would not mind. Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
Next.
next one, please. All right, so this is the what it looks like there. So this is specifically within Veneto, this specific region, the Colli.
How'd you
You-
pronounce it before?
I think I pronounce it differently every time. The Colli Ugane.
You got it.
Yeah. So mountainous. So it's approaching the Alps,
Mhm.
but it's not that far from the ocean too. So what ends up happening here is they get warm breezes from the Adriatic Sea,
Mhm.
but cool breezes coming down from the Alps, both battling for kind of control of the area. The soil is a combination of volcanic and calciferous. So it's from volcanic eruptions, okay. Also, it was underwater, so it was a seabed. So it's a combination of the two.
It's interesting though, because so many times when we've looked at vineyards, they have just like, we'll be looking at clay
Mhm.
or just like rocks in
Oh, right.
between. And now I'm looking at some kind of
Right,
grass.
a nice grass. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a little more verdant.
Yes.
And this is a more verdant area.
Okay.
Interesting too, like see the haze back here?
Mhm.
And then when we go here, you
Oh,
see
wow.
it again. But what's interesting about this area is it is the area where the fog barely doesn't touch.
Oh.
So these are both representations of the area below it is a cooler growth area because the fogs come in.
Sure.
This is actually a warmer growth area, even though it's further because it's further inland
Okay.
and it's further away from the fogs.
What was it? We were looking, I think we were in Sonoma last week or the week before, where you showed us the map of, this is why they can grow this here and grow this here,
Oh,
because
right.
the fog reaches to here,
here,
and that's it.
Yeah.
So this is like, yeah.
Exactly. So this is an area that is a little warmer, but it's not too warm because of the alpine breezes coming down and
Okay.
cooling it off. So it's not too warm, it's not too dry, it doesn't get that cooling fog. So they grow richer wines here. They can grow grapes, but they're going to be richer. Lots of sun, lots of warmth, and not just enough.
Okay.
No. All right, let's move on to, all right, so here's the grape itself, Muscat Blanc, Moscato in Italy. And like I said, this comes in still or sparkling. We have We have the sparkling version of this wine in the store. It is a full off dry, so it is sweet.
Okay.
But it is almost like drinking a blanking on the word, the drink orange juice in sparkling wine.
Oh, yeah, I'm blanking on
Mimosa?
it.
A
Mimosa.
Yeah, thank you. I wasn't even
That
close.
doesn't really seep in the right too, but you gave me the
Yeah,
amnesia of it. Yeah.
exactly. So it's kind of like a mimosa in a glass. Just here's an instant mimosa.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
because of
great.
the orange blossom and then
Right.
so we talked a couple weeks ago on Fat Tuesday about the difference between natural effervescence
Right.
and forced.
Right.
So what is theirs?
That one's forced.
Forced. Okay.
That one is forced. Not done in method tradition.
Mm.
But anyway, so here is the grape itself.
Now, Jeff, is that glass supposed to be the Moscato glass?
Well, according to Wine Folly, it is.
Moscato glass?
I haven't
Like
seen
a
the-
wider lip.
Right. Yeah, no, it's yeah. I mean it's representative of a glass. That is one that kind of opening there would be to kind of help the fragrance kind of come out of the glass,
Okay.
which makes sense for the style. But by the way, I love Wine Folly. Anyone, full credit with a lot of the graphics that we see in here. Wine Folly is awesome. Give them full credit. They're amazing.
Is that grape related to like the muscadine grape that
It is.
is in Florida? Okay.
Yeah.
What's the
Really?
difference between the two?
It's just there are over 500 different subversions of yeah. So it's one of them. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's jump back over here.
Yeah, because if you ever grab a bottle of wine and you're like, we're going to try muscadine this week, we will
Right.
all opt out.
No,
of that.
muscadine will not be a thing. Muscat, yes, muscadine and negatory. Sorry, but no. All right. So, by the way, this is the shrub that causes the orange
Oh,
the orange flavoring for this guy. So this is the only description they gave was a relative of the broom plant. So I'm like, okay, but
Didn't know there
anyway,
was a
but this
plant
is it.
called
This is from this region. So that is one of them. Just a lovely bush,
it's pretty. It adds a lot of happy color.
right?
Mhm.
Oh, it's like that guy, the painter guy that everyone has. Little happy clouds. and happy colors.
Bob Rose. What's his? I can't remember.
Okay,
Somebody will remember his name.
right.
Ross.
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 I was close.
There
Yeah,
we go.
Bob Ross. That's it.
Linda said Bob Vila.
All right, so here we have for our grape anatomy. So this week, the outer skin area is not going to be nearly as important to us as the sweeter and tartar areas on the inside because we're dealing with a white grape. So obviously some character from the outer edges, but not nearly like the same that we would see with a red. So in this case, you've got a lot more importance going on with some freshness from the center and a lot of sugar, you know.
Okay, so I have a question about the skin.
Mhm.
So I know with reds, we'll go, oh, well, if there's more time in the skin or whatever, but reds just have more flavor in the skin. Is that why it doesn't like matter as much with the whites? Because they don't have as much flavor?
That's true.
Oh, okay,
That would
Alright.
be the truth.
okay.
Yes.
So the pigment really is like indicative
It's kind of
of,
indicative of the
more
intensity
flavor.
of what's
Okay.
going on. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. All right, so here we have the winery itself, which is Taragaye, which means happy lands. How about that? So it's kind of an interesting combination here. So we have the winery, but the grape growing family kind of has a bigger name than the winery. So the Lovo family, and this is run by Salvatore Lovo, actually owns all and controls all the grape growing surrounding this area. And this the the Tarragai is kind of a separate endeavor in which they make some wines, but they sell a lot of their grapes too. But then they also sell some of them under the brand Lovo, and it was a little all over the place and hard for me to kind of pin down. But the bottom line is it doesn't say it anywhere on this bottle, but this is a Lovo project, and Lovo makes amazing grapes and amazing wine. So I really consider it to be more of a Lovo project. And my rep kind of always discussed it in that same reference. So the Lovo family has been there since the 1800s. They grow, they make a lot of sparkling wine in this area, a lot of Prosecco. So they're growing a lot of Glera, which is the main grape in Prosecco. They actually grow some, so this area, the Moscato is grown on southern facing slopes because they want the warmth and the sun on there. The northern facing slopes, because the alpine breezes are much cooler, they actually grow some Pinot Noir, which is a very big jump in style when you go from like this big, rich, sunny creation versus Pinot Noir that wants that cool, hey, back off. Let me ripen in my own time, huh? So anyway, kind of a significant jump. They do sell a lot of their grapes, and they're one of the best. They're considered an extremely high quality grape growing group. They one example is they sell their grapes to the Nino Franco Prosecco makers. Nino Franco Rustico is a Prosecco that was listed in 2019 as the #1 wine in the top wine enthusiast top 100. But their grapes came from Lovo. Interestingly, we carry both in the store. Like we carry Lovo and we carry Nino Franco. They both come from the same place. So, and it's kind of a fun thing. If you ever want to come in and taste one versus the other, Prosecco is not expensive. Like, you might be #1 wine in the world, but it's still low 20s, and then 18 or so for the
That's
Lovo.
crazy.
So.
You're the #1 in the world and you're in the low 20s.
It's Prosecco. It's, anyway, but it would be, I think it would be, no, right now I'm going to have to do it. All right, fine. So I guess we're going to taste Lovo versus Nino Franco, because we'll do that as our next,
it's interesting.
Our next comparative.
I mean, but they're both Lovo grapes.
They are.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I think it's kind of cool. So anyway, this is the tasting room. This is the endeavor for, they make, like I said, they make this wine there. They make some Prosecco there. They have a red blend that comes from there, in the same style as what Linda found. So it's basically a super Venetian.
We're gonna just call it out right now.
That's what
it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna catch on from us. Hashtag super Venetian.
That's right. Tipple's created it.
we created the.
That's right.
The hashtag, not the wine.
Not the wine. No.
Not yet.
No. That's all about you guys, Lovo. You guys are fantastic. All right. So move on down here.
Jeff talks so much during these, he doesn't get to enjoy the wine very much. Like every once in a while, he'll sneak in a sip. And
so wine ratings. There are no wine ratings for this wine. It is too small a production, too interesting and wonderful. I will say that when my wine rep brought in the story behind when we first tasted this wine at the store, right? My wine rep, one of my favorites, came in and he said, "I'm not going to tell you what we're drinking." And he hit it and he poured it, and all three of us were there. It was Mike, Jake, me, and we were all like, I wanted to say a Trocken, a dry Riesling, but it wasn't right. It wasn't peach, it was citrus. None of us could figure out what was going on. And that was kind of the intriguing and fun thing, because it was intriguing and extremely delicious, which is kind of why I fell in love with this wine and wanted to bring it to the group. Anyway, that is the story of how we kind of came across this wine. I think I was going to connect to something else, but I lost track. Too much talking. Right now, I'm getting there.
Enough wine.
So,
so
ratings. So there are no ratings for this wine. It is just not in large production. I would say when I'm assessing the wine, is it inherently enjoyable? Absolutely, in my opinion. Is it unique? Yes. Does it have unique qualities that make me want to go back to it and talk about it to other people? Clearly, because I've been talking about this thing for months. So in my opinion, because of that combination, and the fact that I've had Moscato, and Moscato can be disgustingly sweet with no interest at all. And that this is so good, I would give this guy 92, 93 points. Because of all those factors,
Right.
you know, like as what it is,
Right.
I think it is just absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, don't compare it to my favorite.
Right.
Just be like, just judge it by itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like don't compare it to, you know, to a Diamond District Napa Cab. You know, that's
Right. Well, the thing is, I'm not going to sit out on the lanai in the middle of summer with a Napa Cab, even though I love Napa Cabs.
Right.
But I'm not going to do that because I feel like I'm just going to be that much like it's going to make me uncomfortable, like physically uncomfortable, because it's just it. But this, I feel like it would be refreshing to do that, or like, okay, I will drink a Napa Cab with literally anything I'm eating. However, this would enhance like a sushi or something. It wouldn't be battling.
Right. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
It wouldn't trounce
Yeah.
it. Right. Well, yeah, I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think that's very well said. Is, you know, for situationally and for different pairings, very different pairings. I just think it's really delightful wine.
Yeah.
I think it's excellent.
You
Anyway,
could
what do
drink-
you guys think?
You could drink more of this than you could a Napa Cab.
Absolutely. Wait, you cut off. Say it again.
More miles to the gallon, so to speak. I mean,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
it's, I mean, literally, because it's 12%.
Mhm.
The Napa Cab is like 14 and a half.
Usually, yeah.
Depending if we have it or Jerry has it. If Jerry has it, it's always like 1% higher
Yeah, let me check the bottle here.
Yeah, I know.
for his version for whatever reason.
That's not things.
It was really bizarre.
Yeah.
But, and I will say, like, or an example of a wine that I love, but Tate's Ballbuster, 16.5%.
Oh, right.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
But it will bury you.
Yeah. It depends how long you want to be able to hang out and socialize and remember
Yeah.
what's going on.
Sometimes
Yeah.
remembering things is overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had some friends say they don't like Australian wines, and I think the reason is because they've gotten a hold of some of those heavy reds, like Tate's Ballbuster or the Molly Dookers, and a couple of glasses, and you're under the table if you're really not used to that, and you drink it too fast.
Sure.
Comfortable drinking wine, you could enjoy it for a long period of time if you were going to be out for an evening, and probably no after effects.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's a good observation to take into account too. How long, like, if you want to spend an evening socializing with friends and stuff, you kind of have to, you know, make sure that you pace yourself, and this would help you to do that too.
Oh,
So,
sure.
yeah,
Mhm.
just choose the right thing to pair it with. You don't want it with a, you know, sirloin.
No, that would not be a thing. But
But what do you, I mean, we've been talking, Jerry told us what he thinks. What do the rest of you guys think?
yeah, what you thinking, Chris?
I would probably put this in the wine with special qualities sort of category for me, where like I don't love this, but I like it for its unique qualities. Like I think it's to me it's almost like watching a movie that I'm like, I appreciate that this movie just went crazy, and I walked out of it going like, I have no idea whether like how much I liked this movie, but I really appreciate that they went for it. So I find it like more interesting than I do like I want to go back to this. I can see this splitting this with like like us and another couple.
Yeah, I think
like
it
you
would
said,
be a
sitting on
fun-
a back porch.
I think it would be a fun like
Yeah.
company wine of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we're having people over. This would be a fun thing to open to be like, let's try this fun wine. For me, it really reminds me of a Chenin Blanc.
Mhm.
But I think it also got. I think it was really good with food. I think food like was really nice with it. So
Excellent. Cool.
What's interesting because when we first had the turkey chili that we were talking about that we're going to be eating after this, but when we first had it, Jeff brought out a Chardonnay,
Yes.
and I was like, really? Because that is really not my favorite. And he said, have it with the chili. And then with the chili, I was like, okay, paired beautifully with it. And it's the first time in a while that I was like, okay, I actually really like it with this food.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I like this wine, but I was talking about,
Right.
like a Chardonnay, I wouldn't normally ever pick up.
Right.
Yeah.
That was one of my proudest moments.
Yes.
I think it was a buttery oaky Chardonnay too. It was not a Chablis. It was not, like we had that Petit Chablis where everyone said, well, this doesn't even remind me of Chardonnay.
Right.
Yeah, it was a full buttery oaky Chard, but it paired beautifully.
It did.
And it shows the power of the pairing.
Mhm. Yeah, well, because your palate is so influenced then by both things. And he's making a point to say buttery oaky Chardonnay because that is my least favorite wine. Buttery oaky Chardonnay. And
There would
yeah.
be muscadine, and then barely above that would be a buttery oaky Chard for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it took a lot just to get me to try it with it because at first I was like, absolutely not. But yeah, but the pairing, like Robin said, it makes such a difference because it does. It just influences. There's a balance of it.
Like a spicy battered fried shrimp or something with this and stuff too would be amazing. Yeah, which is all about there are different wines for different situations, and there's pretty much a wine for every situation, and so much fun to explore all of them.
Yeah.
Well, for me, hopefully. For you.
Well, if we never ventured out of Napa Cab, Tuesdays would be boring.
Well, there you go.
I mean, I would like every Tuesday, but I wouldn't learn anything.
Well, and also, I mean, even with Cab, there's all kinds of Syrah and, or even Chilean Malbec that was almost Cab-like in its structure. I mean, we've had some fun.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I have some new ideas. Don't worry. Season 2 is coming up.
Season 2. Jeff always refers to this as the show, by the way. The show is starting. And
all right, well, let's finalize the end of the
at the end of the show.
End of the show. Here we go. All right, so where are we drinking from this week? We are right in the center in Italia. So, makes sense? Can they grow grapes there? Yeah, makes sense. And I just love this. I'll probably move it out because I've been using it multiple weeks, but I just think this is really fascinating.
There it is.
There it is. I mean, Italy's #2 production volume-wise in the world.
Yep.
Those are hectoliters, by the way.
I wondered what they were.
Yeah,
They're not percentages.
No, they're hectoliters. So, which we should all understand what that is, but as Americans,
Not even
sorry.
little. I mean, I understand it's in tens, but
But
we should understand it because metric is so much easier to understand
oh yeah,
if we had ever converted over to it.
yeah. I
But
just don't really have a
And-
reference for how big a hectoliter is.
no, but scientists use it throughout the world. And so see if you were a scientist or a doctor,
Well, Jerry
then
knows.
you would know.
I know Jerry.
Hey,
knows.
Jeff, is this as of 2020, 2021, 2019?
This is 2019 to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, I wonder how 2020, everyone.
Right.
Maybe it all went up.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, but a lot of them could not ship out. So, I mean, we're running into some shortages.
Oh, that's
You know,
true.
a lot of them have worked through reserves in 2020, and we are now about to hit a new wave of shortage.
Well,
I've
did
been
the
told by several
fires
distributors.
in California affect it too? Because I know it's hard to remember, but there at the beginning of 2020, there were fires like all through.
Oh, yeah.
California,
So, and
so-
obviously they can affect people. I mean, because we talked about last week's wine, the Buchenholzkloof.
Mhm. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Mhm. No, the gun.
Buchenholzkloof is South African.
It's
It's the other one. So it's the Gunlach Boonshoe.
that's it.
Yes. So the Gunlach Boonshoe Merlot, there was no vintage before the one that drinks
Mhm.
last week, so because of fires.
That's right. Now I think last week was 2018.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there was no 17. All right. So yes, it will be interesting to see what's going on because I am getting multiple notifications about delays from international wine coming into the country. It's been a combination of COVID and tariffs and all kinds of situations. So it's been fun. And it's a little bit of a challenge, but don't worry, I will have stuff for us to
Challenges are
drink.
good. Challenges are good. I
That's
tell
it.
my kids that all the time.
You know what,
That's
let's
how
go.
you grow.
Okay, we're gonna have better wines than ever.
You want me to share?
Yes,
Because
please.
there's like one more.
There's only one more. We'll get into next week's wine. All right, so
Oh, I've been looking at this on the shelf.
yes, next week we are going back to California, which, you know, clearly we're going to go to California a lot. There's a lot of great wine from there. The Prisoner Eternally Silenced Pinot Noir, 92 points this year, 92 points previous year. It's a lot of 92s. Food pairings: duck, lamb, salmon, Boston butt, mushroom risotto. It's a very robust Californian Pinot Noir. It's not one of the ones that's a little more floral and delicate, which there's nothing wrong with those. Those are great, but this is not that version of Pinot.
I love it.
This is the version, yeah. This is the version of Pinot where there's something for everybody. Julie would love this Pinot. Elizabeth will love this Pinot.
I like the bottle too because it's like dipped
Yes.
and it covers half the label.
It's really cool, right? So, so that is a Prisoner wine made by.
Hey, they have it too.
Hey, look at you guys. Yeah, I was able to get enough to hold it for another week. So I said, okay, we're going to keep doing that. When you open it, do not chip off the wax. It will drive you crazy. Ignore the wax. Use a regular opener, screw through the top, and just pop it up and it will crack right through. Or otherwise you will drive yourselves nuts.
Thank you. Those are tips we need to know. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't still chill it though.
Give that one just the normal 30-minute chill, you know, red wine chill. Get it down to 55 degrees or so. But and that is what we're gonna have next week. It is really delicious. It's a Pinot you will love. You love the Gloria Ferrer.
I did. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on that
He's
side.
saying that because Pinot is not my favorite red. So
Right.
yeah.
But you're gonna like this one.
Okay.
I have no doubt.
All right.
So that is the Unico, which is a little unicorny.
Every time I look at the label, I think unicorn. Actually, I
Right.
think it's missing 2 letters.
Exactly. Anyways, here.
So any last comments about this wine before we stop the recording? Okay.
All right. Well, then,
All right.
everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm glad hope you had fun. I think you did. Seemed like it.
Cheers, everyone.
Everyone, lobster rolls for everyone.